Let's make my rock climb quilt pattern that uses only a layer cake. With each 42 count 10-inch square, you are going to subcut one 4.5-inch by 8.5-inch rectangle, four 2.5-inch squares, and two 2.5-inch by 4.5-inch rectangles, and that's it. You'll just repeat this step to all of your 42 10-inch squares. Once everything is cut, you are going to rotate all of your prints around and sew everything back together again. So first up, we are going to sew the two 2.5-inch squares to the 2.5-inch by 4.5-inch rectangles, then the 2.5-inch squares on the other side of the unit. Then we are going to sew these two pieced rectangles together, and then lastly our large 4.5-inch by 8.5-inch rectangle, and you are done. Your block will measure as a 8.5-inch square, and all you'll have to do is repeat this step until you've made a total of 42 quilt blocks. But once all of your blocks are completed, you will lay them out in a 6x7 block layout, with the odd rows having the 4.5-inch by 8.5-inch rectangle on top, and the even rows, you'll rotate the blocks 180 degrees so that way the scrappy portion is then on top. Then, as always, you will sew your blocks together to form rows, and then lastly, sew those rows together to complete your quilt top. And here is what my rock climb quilt pattern looks like all finished. One 42 count layer cake will yield you a 48 by 56 inch quilt. Two layer cakes with a 8 by 10 layout will yield you a twin size quilt measuring at 64 by 80 inches, just to give you a few more options. Then for the backing, I am using a brush stroke print that goes pretty well with this collection. And for the thread choice, I am going with Seagull in Glide Thread, as it's something new that I have on hand, and it is a light gray with green undertones. And here is what my quilt looks like all finished. For the quilting, I went with Forest Walk, which I will have a link down below in the description. But I do hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.